Everyone. So, guys, how are you all? I hope that all will be doing great and fantastic. So, guys, once again, welcome to my new video. And in this video, I'm going to give you something very special. And, guys, first of all, let me tell you that in this video, I'm going to talk about podcast, English podcast. Why is it important to listen English podcast? And first of all, let me tell you one thing that this is my first experience that I got to know from that video that I'm gonna share with all of you. So please stay connected with me until it ends, because from this video you're gonna know that why we should learn and why should we watch podcast video for improving our speaking skill, as well as we can improve our communication skill by watching podcast video. Okay, so I'm suggesting to all of you that if you want to know the benefits of watching podcast video, so this video is for you. You can watch this video if you want to improve your communication skill, as well as if you want to improve your speaking skill. So this video is very useful for you. So without any further delay, let's talk about my today's topic. Have I chosen this topic? So guys, yesterday I was watching podcast video, and that time I was not aware. Before yesterday I haven't watched any podcast video, but yesterday I was scrolling my mobile's reels, and fortunately I got that video. I started watching that video, and before starting before starting watching that video, I was not thinking that I will get something from this video. But when I started, so just I started watching video, and while watching I was realizing that I'm gonna learn so many things from this video. I was realizing these things, and guys, really I have learned so many things from that video. So I'm going to share with you that how can you improve your speaking skill by watching podcast video, so that you could improve your speaking skill, because of learning English language we can relate something from that videos or from that kind of way. Okay, we can learn so many things. So what I have learned, I'm gonna share with you. So first of all, when I started watching podcast video, so in that podcast there were two people. They were talking to you, they were talking to each other in English language. And first thing that I have learned from that podcast video, that they use new vocabularies, advanced vocabularies. They do not use very simple vocabulary. Yes, they use, but according to situation, and they use simple vocabulary also, but as well as they try to tell us advanced vocabulary. Suppose that not suppose that yesterday I have learned about it, that we know paper. Okay, we know paper, and we know bunch of papers. But yesterday I have learned that collective noun of paper, that is called a ream. Okay, that is called a ream. So this is a new word that I got to learn from that video. First time I listened this word ream, and by watching that video, after watching that video, I relate that things. I started relating that new words, my day to day conversation. I found myself that I can use this word in my day to day conversation. Suppose that I do practice every day, so I can talk English language with myself by using that new words. Okay, so I was learning vocabularies. First of all, I learned so many vocabularies from that one podcast video. And after that, I watched a video. So I was completely focused, and I was just listening their fluency without making any mistake. They were talking to each other like they were very comfortable with this language. So second thing that I have learned from that podcast video, that is comfortably. Are we comfortable in this language or not? It is completely depend on our language learning process. Okay, so they were sharing their thoughts. They were talking about people, their father, and as well as they were talking about grocery, grocery things. So they were sharing their day-to-day life, or what gonna happen in their life, and what was the thing that was going to happen. So they were sharing this all things to each other, and I realized that how comfortable they are with this English language. Yes, that was a video, but those people were very comfortable with English language. How were they comfortable in English? I just focused on their words, focused on their fluency. Like they were talking to each other like their mother tongue or local language. They were not hesitating for English speaking. It is obvious here that they are very fluent in English language. Because of that, they are making podcast video. It is not all about that, but what you will have to learn from that, you will have to listen podcast video. You will notice that how comfortable they are in the English language, and as well as you will notice that how many vocabularies they use for completing their sentences. Okay, so when you start watching podcast videos, so you will learn these all things, and you will get to know that what is the right way of learning English language. You will realize it by watching podcast video. And guys, what why am I forcing to you to watch podcast video? The main thing is that podcast mean practical conversation. We just when we start watching other kind of video, so in that video people use cock and bull story words. They just use their homemade and their own made vocabularies, right? But in podcast we can learn vocabularies, as well as they talk practical in practical way. This is very important. We just listen while listening podcast video, while watching podcast video we will listen practical conversation. So after listening practical conversation, you will copy their accent, you will copy their pronouncing words, you will copy all of these things. Okay, so in podcast we can learn this kind of things. You will have to know that which field will be better for you, which way will be better for you. If you are in beginning level, so I cannot say that you must watch podcast video, not at all. If you are in intermediate level, if you are able to understand sentences in English language, so you can definitely watch podcast video. But don't make this mistake if you are in beginning level. So I am suggesting you, please do not watch podcast video, because in podcast, if we can understand, if we have knowledge about tenses, grammar, some kind of knowledge we must have if you are watching podcast video. But if we don't have anything, we are in just a beginning level. We have just recently started our journey, and if you watch podcast video, so that is not gonna help you a lot. This is kind of just a this will be kind of paying formality. If you are not learning anything from anyone, from any kind of a video, so that will be that will be your formality. So do not pay formality. You will have to learn, because you are giving time to this language. You will have to learn English language, as well as you will focus that where you need to improve. Okay, as well as while listening podcast video, you will know that how is it important to listen podcast for improving your speaking skill. And you will think that I wish I should have this kind of knowledge when I started my journey. You will think about it. Podcast is very important, and main thing is that we can learn practical way of conversation. We will not learn any cock and bull story on any podcast video. We cannot learn these things because they do not teach us like this. We can learn so guys, I will meet you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.